Right.
Hello. Um, Welcome everyone to the weekly session with the team at Windmill. Like every week, we're gonna talk about what we've worked on, any new features that we've brought, and also it's an opportunity for you to discuss with us and have any questions or give us any feedback. This week, I've mainly been working on bug fixes. We have a few high-scale customers that had some rare performance issues or more like internal requests that were failing. So I did a very deep investigation into that. It's we pretty much we I'm very confident that the culprit is basically the way TCP is handled locally. You can disable some algorithms, the NACL algorithm, by using TCP no DLE. It's also much more reliable for clients to announce the content lengths, things like that. A lot of bug fixes this week. I've also migrated our code base to use Vit roll down, and yeah, mostly bug fixes. But I'm actually finally to the point where I have nothing left but the raw apps. So this weekend and next week, I'm gonna be all about raw apps. We also have a really nice feature that has been brought as in V0 by Etienne. He's not present today, but it's forkable workspaces. We're not going to show it today because it's still V0 and we have some needs to improve, but it's already available, and the documentation is actually already live. But we have a few improvement iteration to do before we want to publicly announce it. But it's a great way to do collaboration. It mimics the way you think about doing collaboration on Git by reusing the same principle, which is that you can fork, and in this case, the fork is done on the workspace itself, where you actually are able to fork the workspace, do all the changes that you want anywhere, and then sync back to the original workspace. It also works with the CLI locally, so it's a very powerful feature. It closed a big gap that we had in edits that were non-trivial and basically did not just involve one script, but maybe one flow and a few resources and a few other things. So yeah, it's great work on Etienne, and then we will have more to show as soon as we're done with the V1. And I'm gonna leave it to Hugo if you have anything to present this week.
I have actually two features to show. Let me share my screen. So the first thing I want to show is flow job streaming. So recently, Ruben introduced job streaming, so you can like return a stream in your step, and then you can see the result appearing as basically as each delta of the stream is streamed. And what I've added is basically the ability to stream all your streams in your flow as with a single endpoint. So you just say, oh, I run this flow. I want to get the stream result, and you'll get like a combined stream of all the steps. And as each event happens, then you get like the results. So I mean, it's quite like the goal is similar as we did for scripts, but it's basically if you have like some for instance LLM stuff or I don't know, whatever streaming process, then you can easily also listen to it when it's done in a flow. The purpose of flow job streaming is mostly when you have your own client to do it, but we did add like a tab in the UI so you can see how it works. So it went a bit fast, so I'll do it again. But basically what it does is, all right, let me try again. Oh. So yeah, so you see here this new tab in which we'll add some documentation on how to do it in your own system, but you can see like every step as the event appears. Also here, as you might have seen, is my flow has like a branchful logic, and so both step and B are supposed to run at the same time. So right now I only have one worker, so they still execute one after the other. But if you had like both, like two workers, then you would see like each event appearing. So if you have like complex workflows where you have like a bunch of streams streaming at the same time, you could still handle it correctly and display it as you want in your own application. Okay, that's the first feature. Second feature is email triggers. So we already have email triggers for runnables. So by default, you get like a special email address, which will trigger a job. And now we have like we've added like custom email triggers where you can specify the local port you want, and works basically the same. You'll get the same arguments to your script. And the reason we did that is because the URL was quite long and sometimes it didn't work with all providers and was also hard to remember. But that makes it like give you the possibility to have like really simple emails that you can forward to Windmill. We also you can also prefix it with the workspace. This is quite useful when you have like a staging and a prod workspace. So when you deploy it, you don't have like any conflicts with the email address. And like every other triggers, you also have error handler and retries and yeah, and also we support extra email arguments, which was done by Alex, I think a few weeks ago. So if you want to pass some context, some additional context, you just add like a plus after your local part with arguments in the query arg format, like you would do for a URL, and then you will pass to your script as well. So yeah, that's about it for me. Maybe Farhad, do you want to go next?
Yes, I can go. Let me share my screen. Can you see? So yeah, on my side, I've been working on the AI agents on flows. So what you can do now is you can work with images. So let me show you an example. For example, in this one, I'm using, so it's called Nano Banana Flash Image Preview from Google. So you can give it as input and images. So here it's this one, for example. And here I ask it to remove the clouds from this image. And here you have a new parameter that is the output type. And you can tell it to output an image instead of text. It works with our S3 handling inside your workspace. So here my image is inside an S3 bucket, and it will also upload the image to your S3 bucket once it's done. So let's test this. Little bit of suspense. Yeah. So as you see, it removed the clouds. So you can do better stuff with it, but it's just an example. And the second thing is, no, I think, in fact, it's the only thing, but I have another demo I can show you. Yeah, this one. So here I'm doing two things. The first thing is doing OCR on one image. So I'm asking Gemini Flash to extract the text from an image and using the output schema to be sure that it outputs an extracted text. And then I'm using the image model to generate a logo with that text. So here you can see I'm using the extracted text. In mode image, let's test this one. So let's see the output on this one. Oh, I think I forgot to give it an image. So as you can see, it extracted the text and produced a quite beautiful logo. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I don't know if anybody else has something to show. Well, I guess that's it for the demo.
I can talk briefly about what I did.
Yeah, sure.
So I fixed the bug on DuckDB where you didn't see the errors on cloud and on the Docker image. So now specifically with Duck Lake, so now you see the error correctly, which was much more painful for me to fix as it seems. But yeah, and it's not ready yet, but I can show it because I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, it works. And I'm working on advanced permissions for S3. So now so before sometimes you had to do that because, for example, with DuckDB you had to share the credentials or else it wouldn't work. Now I'm adding the possibility to control with a more fine grain what the user has access to. So, for example, the user will be able to access like this file, for example, but not this one because like it's not in his path. So yeah, I think it's cool. And I've been working on, but it's not like for any time soon. But I'm working on the redesign of the flow input because like I'm putting an emphasis. I'm trying to put more emphasis on UI UX and making the app easier to understand basically. Yeah, that's it for me. I don't know if anybody else want to go.
I think there is, but just maybe you want to talk very shortly about how you managed to solve the DuckDB issue. I mean, very briefly. We don't need to go into the big details, but I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah, very briefly. DuckDB was having issues when compiling with the Dino core for some reasons, and the reason was that it both used the libc C++, but one was linking statically to it, and the other one was linking dynamically. So for some reason that I don't know exactly what happened, but something was happening there. So what I did is separated the DuckDB lib into another crate that I linked with FFI. So now it's completely isolated from the Deno core, and both are operating in their own world. So no problem anymore.
It's like we created our own Windmill runtime for DuckDB, so it's actually very cool. Just maybe Ash, you don't need to talk too much, but I can just mention that we did some performance improvement for relative imports, and some of it actually didn't break anything, but there is some correctness that were lessened by it, and Ash has been working in the background in making sure that in all edge cases are now correctly handled. The performance improvement are due to caching, so we cache more. In more cases, we cache entirely every relative imports request, which improve performance dramatically for any scripts in Python or TypeScript that would, well, mostly Python because TypeScript would do it at build time, but Python actually do it at runtime. So it's great. There's a lot of engineering that go into relative imports. It looks like a small thing, but it's very complex to handle that on Windmill side because we need to also, whenever you change a command dependency, we need to redeploy all the scripts and so on. And maybe it's not ready yet, but we're working on sharding, and Jereba is working on doing the sharding experiment. It's not for most, well, the very vast majority of users, this is of no use because it's only matter if you need more than 10k RPS. But we want Windmill to have infinite scalability, so we want to be able to also explore that part, and that goes with sharding the database and sharding especially the queue part, which is what we're experimenting on. And maybe Alex, you want to, if you have something to say about the blog post and the features. Myself, I have to leave, but have a great week, everyone.
All right, see ya. Yeah, I was off on vacation for 2 weeks and just came back. I was working on a blog post that is currently under review. Let me just quickly share my screen. So yeah, it's gonna be ready soon, but basically a while ago I presented to the FEMA US government organization how Windmill can be used for security operations and automation. We have a bunch of customers who use it for these purposes, and for that demo I created a nice workflow that illustrates like typical steps of a security operation organization, specifically the data gathering part, classification of the incident, and then the remediation step below. So in the blog post, I kind of show how the individual features of Windmill can be used to kind of map a complex incident into different actions, and using the app builder to create nice dashboards, etc. So that one is currently under review and should be published soon. On top of that, I was working on kind of improving the usability of the actions column. So in AG Grid, in the app builder, currently the table action column is very hard coded and very specific, so you can't add custom styles. It's kind of hard to move it around because it's treated as a different type of column. So the way I did this now is to kind of make sure it follows the same UX as for other columns. So you can go in here and, for example, change the flex, but you can also change the order of the column, so you can drag it around. When you add raw fields here, you can also add some styles. So these things were not really possible before. So yeah, making it more in line with other column types, so it gives you more flexibility. Yeah, and I hope, yeah, this one was still a bit complicated. I'm still doing testing on edge cases, but should also be ready to review pretty soon. I think Henri has something to show, like, or talk about the videos that are almost or under review, but I guess yeah, otherwise also anyone else who still has something to show can go.
Yeah, I mentioned it a while ago, but I think beginning of next week we'll finally have our new demo videos on the whole platform, like covering 90% of our features. Yeah, so just watch out and you'll see our new videos. But I think that's it, unless anyone has an addition. But
Yeah, I guess
otherwise, yeah.
already went.
Yeah, Ruben went. Yeah, so we can just wrap it up. And yeah, tell you goodbye and see you next week.
All right,
See you,
see
everyone.
ya.
See you. Bye.
Bye.